Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Shay's Stocks. It is still day 40, but it is video number 29. What a strange day, hey? So I was a bit wrong about the market having a complete crash. Not entirely wrong. A lot of stuff went down, but it only went down by between 2 and 5%. It wasn't like 10 to 20%. It was panic selling, and we were part of that. So in that regard, I was wrong. The stocks we did get out of did bounce back to a certain extent, but that just made me quite bullish on those stocks. So what we've done, the end of the day has come. We've managed to move all the money across to the ISA, the tax-free ISA, which is what I wanted to do. We haven't lost a great deal. I mean, a little bit down on the day probably, but we oohed and ahed about lots of different things and which stocks to wind up with. I wanted a safe play, and I did a lot more research, and I kept harking back to Nvidia. I went away from Duolingo, despite me having a lot of faith in it. You just don't know how it's going to react, and the market's going to react to it. I want something a bit more secure and safe than that. So half the money for two of my investors, that money has gone into BlackRock, which I haven't even mentioned before, because it's always been like ridiculously highly priced. It's like $1,190 a share or something crazy, but it dropped quite a lot today because of panic selling and everything, and something Trump said about banks. I don't know why that impacts on these guys, but basically they have $17 trillion worth of stocks and assets. BlackRock, one of the huge investment companies in America, they're just absolutely like phenomenally big. And in my book, the wealthy just get wealthier. So when there is a bit of turmoil, they're going to ride it out, and they're not going to have any problems where money's concerned. If a stock drops, they can just buy back their own shares. It gives them a lot of leverage to do well, regardless of what the market and the world's doing. So half the money, nice and safe in there. They have got a dividend as well. It's only small, but it's better than nothing. So I think $5 per share dividend. We've got two shares, so $10 every 3 months. It's nothing much, but it's still free money. So we'll have a little bit of that. So that's my safe play. That's it should still do well. I looked at the predicted price targets, and it's currently at $1,107, which is a really good buy. The price target goes from anything from 1150 all the way up to 1500. So I mean, there's a hell of a lot of upside. If and it's trajectory this year has just been like up to the side, up to the side, up to the side. That's exactly what you want. So I don't foresee any massive crashes with it. Like maybe it downtick today, but then it should just bounce up tomorrow or the day after. So we've got what should be, we've only got 2.5 shares of it. It's quite a chunk of the money, but with the pound being strong against the dollar as well, that does help. So we're going to stick with BlackRock for a while. That might end up moving, but it's one that if we can get a nice little cushion and just sit on for a while, it can be moved at some point. But it's one of those that just should accrue money over the year, and a lot more than just leaving it in the bank. So BlackRock have half our cash. Now on the other side, the flip side of a coin, the more high risk play, I keep going back to Ondas. We sold today because I was worried about it diving to $11.50. Shouldn't have been worried, but it's kind of worked out because what we've done is the quantum plays I've moved. The quantum plays were sold. Novo Nordisk we sold, and I've stocked a whole lot onto Ondas. I still believe in everything I've said since the beginning of this process. A 10x company, but not only is it just pure faith, they have had, they're making all the right moves, all the right people, in all the right places. It's in a business that's just growing and growing and growing, and they have very likely to become a leader in that field. So, what we're buying in at now is high $12. It's going to seem pennies down the line when it's trading at $40, $50. So yes, it's a gamble, but I'm feeling it's less of a gamble now than when we started this journey, because it would go up from 7 to 8 to 6 to 9 to 5 to 8, and it would just be random. Now it's kind of going up from 10 to 11, 10, 10 and a half to 12 and a half to 13 to 12 and a half to 14 to 15 to 13 and a half to 14, and then it'll kind of have like higher floors. So it's moving in a way you would expect a growing company to move. And it's like I said before, when a company stops being speculation and starts accruing money, apparently it's raised over like 1.5 billion now. So it's got a lot of cash flow. Yeah, I should keep it secure and safe. It's making all the right purchases. I'm still really excited about it, really high on it, despite the price being a lot higher now. So we've got less shares than we had at the beginning when we bought it below a price. But obviously, it could change trajectory, as I would say. It could change direction, and it could go down. But I'm not gonna panic sell if it does that this time, because today was a prime example that actually gave me confidence. All this fear of tariffs, of panic selling, of chaos everywhere. And the market didn't do well, but Ondas did bounce back. It's got huge volume. People are like, tons and tons of people are buying these shares, even at the price it's at now. People are invested in it financially, but they're also following the journey, and they're really excited to be a part of it, just like I am. So the plan now is to sit on BlackRock, sit on Ondas, not panic if it goes down. I don't regret doing that this morning. I believe that I learned quite a bit today. There was a chance, and it was a very real chance. I wasn't the only one that thought it. Lots of YouTubers thought this could be a 20% drop today. Gemini thought it could be a 20% drop today, and that would have really hurt our bottom line. So getting out and getting back in at slightly more expensive prices shouldn't hurt us in the long run. And we played it safe. So I think looking back, no regrets. But if I had just left it there, maybe we'd be 100 quid better off now. But we could have been 400 or 500 quid worse off. So yeah, it's learning. And if I could go back, would I have just kept the money in those things? Well, I probably wouldn't have now, because it wasn't in a tax-free ISA. If these things explode, like I hope they will, they might not, but if they explode, we don't want to be paying a buttload of tax in a year or 2 years' time. If we get 10x and suddenly this money becomes thousands and thousands of pounds, we'll get taxed on that. So yeah, it was moving the money across like I wanted. We've only got 2 stocks now, a very safe play and a very risky play, but less risky than when we first got involved with it. I'm very happy that we have a larger sum of money in it, so the rewards will be substantial if this even goes 3x or 4x, $30, $40. That will be a lot of money, and we'll have the option to sell out then. But I want to see this through. I want to see this through till they are market leaders. The other drone companies, they're not just going for $30, $40, $50. The larger ones, some of them are going for over $100. I think there's one that's going for $220. This is per share, which could be ridiculous money down the line. So, could have played it perfectly and have more money now, and maybe then sold out and gone back in. But, none of us are Mystic Meg. We don't know what's going to happen. And the market's flipping so unpredictable. So I believe today's gone okay. Learned a bit. The money's where we want it to be. And we just got to have a lot of faith in it now and not freak out when it goes south, because it will. Ondas, we managed to get in. It went as high as 14.5 today. When it was at one point, it was up 15%, which is amazing. and then now it went all the way down to 12.8, which is where we bought in. Went back up to 13, and hovering about 13.5, which is brilliant, you know. That's what you want. So, you know, that could easily go down again to you know, it could set lower lows, but over the next 6 to 12 months, that company is heading in the right direction to be a major player in the drone and defense industry. And we could be a part of that if I don't freak out and get rid of it. And when I sold out today, I was gutted. And that made me realize that it was just, that's where I needed to put the cash. You know, to have removed the money, it wasn't as much as we've got in now, but to have removed it and then feel gutted afterwards, I knew, you know, that was a regret. So I've addressed that regret and hopefully won't have to, you know, do that again, and have the courage of our convictions to just see this one through. Yeah, 12 months at least, see if I'm right. If I'm not, you know, probably it won't be a huge loss necessarily. You know, it could just be a little bit of a loss. This company isn't going to disappear off the face of the earth, not with the way they're going and the interest they're, you know, bringing, and, you know, all the attention they're getting. It's going to keep climbing. Oh yeah, something else I didn't tell you. They've had new price targets. Remember last time I told you about this company's price targets? They said it went from $10 to $13. That was a price target. Now the price target's gone from $13 to $17, and one even said $20. So, you know, they could be expecting another $7 per share on this one as a high estimate. In the low estimate, still another $4 a share up from where it is now. Doesn't mean that's correct, but it does mean everyone's thinking along the same lines, that they're making all the right moves, and you know, we are very much a part of that. So there we go. It's Shay'S stocks. We're 40 days in now, 29 videos. We're, I'd say around 400 quid up, and we have that split between a solid, safe play and a really interesting stock that I'm emotionally invested in, that we've been there since it was, you know, $7 was when I first started looking at this stock. Others, you know, were there from $2-3. I got there from $6-7, watching it for a while. I bought in around the 8 mark, went up and up. It made us some money, so when we sold today, it's not like we sold and broke even. I didn't wait till the market had dropped. We sold with profit, and that profit has now gone back in. So, you know, we're not doing badly here. We've got less shares because we paid more, but we actually have a larger sum in there. So it all kind of works out the same. So yeah, excellent stuff. Right, guys, I'm going to leave you to enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening. I'm going to watch the Wrexham game. We're playing Leicester at home. And I'm going to spend a lot less time minutely tracking the movements of these stocks. Because, you know, that it's hard, because when big things happen like this weekend, the geopolitical news was huge. And it could have really shook the market. It may still do that, you know. I could still be right, you know. Wednesday, Thursday could still be crashes, but I don't intend to sell if it is, because yes, maybe a 10-20% crash now and then a 40% correction to the good in a 6-month run. We don't have to take the money out again if we're sure these are the stocks we want. Then we may as well just let it go down and let it go up, because it's only worth what we sell it for, and we just don't sell it until it's worth more than it is now, and that's how we're looking at it. Right, I'm gonna go because the game's second half is about to kick off. Thank you for listening, and, you know, feel free to leave comments or likes. That'd be really cool, and we'll have more videos soon. Catch you later. Bye for now.